about why it's important to study in the UK, or why you should consider coming to the UK as your education destination. And then I will also talk about the university and our campus and our different ways of teaching and things that the university could offer to you. Again, thank you very much for joining us. My name is Cecilia, and I am the Marketing and Recruitment Officer for Latin America. And I actually study in Southampton, so if you have any questions about the city, about the university, teaching methods, evaluations, I'm happy to go through this with you at the end. So why would you study in the UK? So the UK offers over 50,000 options for courses, very, very specific of courses. It has over 200 universities. If you look at the rankings of a lot of different areas, the UK is highly ranked internationally. So if you want to look at global rankings, I'm sure British universities are going to be in the top. Also, there's a high satisfaction rate for students. And well, the UK is known because of its tradition and innovation. It's also a multicultural environment. Plus, it would give you the chance to get some working experience in English and maybe improving your English. That could give you, it might open some doors for you in the future if you want to look for other opportunities for work. So the UK university system is a bit different than the one in Mexico. So undergraduate programs can vary 3 to 5 years. There are some programs that already have a master's included. So in 4 years, you can already graduate from your undergraduate and your master's already. Masters are just usually 1 year, just 1 year. So that means you start around September. You have around 9 months of classes, and then you have 3 months to write your dissertation. And then PhDs are usually 3 to 4 years. They say it can be done in 3 years. I don't know anybody who has done it in less than that. And then we have some programs that offer a study abroad option. The University of Southampton has partners all over the world. And well, depending on the program, you might be given this option. So imagine that you have over 200 universities, 50,000 courses. How do you choose one? So it's very important to look at the institutional quality. You can look at global rankings and specific about your area. So let's say the University of Southampton is ranked 90th in the world and 8th in research in the UK. But it might be that you're really interested in architecture, and Southampton does not offer that course, right? But you can go look at Sheffield, and it might be that for architecture, Sheffield's number, I don't know, 3 or 4th in the list of rankings. So it's really important to look at the rankings overall of the universities, but also look at the rankings for your specific areas. So nowadays you can look all this information on our website. So all the universities offer the syllabus of all the classes that you're going to take, all the topics that are going to be covered, who's the research staff or the teaching staff at the university. So all of those things are really important to consider. If you look at the modules, the topics that you're going to be covering, that could give you an idea if you're actually going to be interested in that program. So that could help the process about choosing one university over another one a bit easier. Also, something important to consider is the location and size of the university and the city that you would be living. So it's not just about studying. It might be that you're interested in a bigger city experience like London or Manchester. It might be that you're interested in a more community, like smaller city, more into feeling more into a community. So it's important to check if there are things around to do, the city, the university, that might help you choose one university over another one. So nowadays you can find, especially now with COVID, you can find like guided tours online where the staff from the university gives you an overall explanation or a tour around the campus. So if you Google or in YouTube, if you look at for tours about different universities, different cities, that could help you make the process about choosing a university a bit easier. And again, there's lots of websites where you can find reviews from other students as well. So I hope that's helpful when you're choosing a university. So something that I really appreciate about studying in the UK is that it's not just about student life. There's lots of different options and for you to take into, for you engaged in social activities. So the first week, you usually get orientation and Freshers Week. Freshers Week is kind of the induction week where you get to see all the other activities a university has to offer, such as clubs and societies. They call it societies, but it's basically, like a club where you can join either a sport or a social society if you're interested in, I don't know, the University of Southampton offers over 300 clubs and societies. Again, you can choose from football, you can choose from sailing, tennis, squash, basketball, but then you can also join maybe a volunteering society or nature and conservation society. So there's even like art societies if you're interested in that. So there's a space for everybody. Again, if you're interested in more in like leadership and volunteering opportunities, there's also a society that covers that. You're also assigned an academic tutor at the beginning of the year. So this academic tutor will help you throughout the whole process. If you have any questions between one class or another, if you're struggling with an assignment, if you have any personal problems that might affect the submission of one of your assignments, these academic tutors help you in the whole process, and they're usually very approachable. You're also offered the welfare and student support services. Let's say if you're struggling with time management or stress or anxiety because you're in a new country, you can have access to the welfare and student support, so they can help you throughout the process and give you kind of techniques on how to tackle these problems. So that's something that I really enjoyed. So how would you apply for a British university? So pretty much all the universities have the same requirements. For a postgraduate program, means if you're studying a master's, we would ask you for to have your university diploma for a Mexican licenciatura or a maestria. And we would ask you for a minimum average grade of 8.0. If you're interested in doing a PhD, we would also ask you for the same, the university diploma, transcripts with all of the classes or modules that you took during your studies, the minimum average grade of 8, and also we would ask you for a research proposal. The research proposal will have to include basically what's the kind of research you would like to do, and which methodology, a timeline. But yeah, this is basically a brief description of the kind of research you would like to do during your PhD studies. So how do you apply? Applications for master's and PhD are done directly into the university through this website. Besides your university diploma and your university transcripts, you would need to have them translated by a certified translator into English if they're not issued in English. You would also need to take a certificate of English language ability, which would be an IELTS of 6.5 with 6 in each component, or a TOEFL IBT of 92 points for most programs. If you're studying a program related to medicine, health sciences, or law, we will require you to have a 7 in your IELTS with 6.5 in each component and a 97 on your TOEFL IBT. You would also need to write a personal statement, and again, a minimum average grade of 8.0. Again, I mentioned that you apply directly through our website, so you create an account with us, and this is kind of the website where you would be creating this account. You select your course, the academic year that you would like to start, and then the program, and then I would ask you to start submitting personal information, your address, and then there's a section where you start uploading your documents. You don't need to finish on the first go. You can start submitting some documents, or if you prefer, through our colleagues from Innova Education. It's really easy to do because you send them the documents and then they do the application for you. So you don't have to worry about anything, and they will keep track on which documents you're missing and any updates that the university gives you. So the personal statement, as I mentioned, is this essay, basically where you describe what your desire behind wanting to pursue a postgraduate program. It needs to demonstrate that you know about your subject area. It needs to demonstrate that you have a good command of English, correct grammar, punctuation. It needs to have a good structure. It needs to demonstrate your motivation. It's a difficult year. It's a very demanding program. So you need to demonstrate that you're passionate enough to basically study this for a whole year. You also need to demonstrate how you meet the criteria, how you fit the profile, and then basically how this is going to help you in your career. What are you getting out of this master's? How is this going to help in your career? What are you hoping to do after this? So once you submit your application, it takes 6 to 8 weeks for you to get a response from our admissions office. If you let me know, I can probably make that process a bit faster. Usually, we say 6 to 8 weeks. This is a timeline that admissions gives us to provide a response, and the possible outcomes can be unconditional offer, which means that you are not missing any documents, that you've submitted absolutely everything, and then conditional offer, which is maybe that you're missing your IELTS, that you're missing a reference letter. In this case, you can still apply to the university if you're missing a document, but this could actually help you save the spot in the program. So we have some programs like the business school ones that were already filled by February this year. So we recommend students to apply by December, so they can have their unconditional offers by the time they want to apply to CONACYT or FUNED or FIDER. But if you, let's say, have all the other documents, but you're still missing your IELTS, you can still submit your application. The university will give you a conditional offer, but this will save you the spot in the program. And the third option, the third possible outcome, could be unsuccessful. This is if your background is completely different to the one you want to study. Let's say if you studied music and you want to do a master's in mechanical engineering, which is completely different. Those are the only cases where I've seen that people have been rejected. But yeah, most likely if you get all the other documents and you demonstrate that you have a good personal statement, good grades, you have better chances of being accepted into the program. So I wanted to show you this video, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to listen to it. So I'm just going to play. And Fabiola, can you let me know if you can hear it or not?
Yes, of course. I'll let you know.
Welcome.
We can hear it.
Bienvenue.
Добре дошли.
Welcome to Southampton.
Ciao, benvenuti.
欢迎你。
Welcome.
Welcome to Southampton.
Bienvenidos a Southampton.
Welcome. आप सबका स्वागत है.
Welcome.
Welcome to Southampton.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey, bienvenidos.
Confirma venir.
Welcome to Southampton.
Welcome.
So I don't know if you were able to see like the video in the full motion, but anyway, I love the city, I love the campus, and you can see that it's a very multicultural environment. So yeah, following on the costs, interesting part, finances. So depending on the course, the prices will vary of the fees between the cost of the programs are between £16,000 to £24,000. That's the most expensive program that we have. And then we estimate living expenses to be around £9,000 if you live outside London, and then £11,000 if you're in London. We do have different scholarships. So the university has a number of competitive scholarships available depending on your average grade. So if you have 8, let's say for business school, if you have 8.5 or higher, you would get £5,000 discount on the fees. If you have between 8 and 8.4 on average grade from your licenciatura, you would be getting around £3,000 of discount. These are given by the faculty, so there's no application or extra application for it. But if you have really good grades, the faculty might grant you a discount on the fees. Also, we have agreements with different funding bodies in Mexico, such as CONACYT. If you've applied to any CONACYT scholarship, if you're awarded with, let's say, a CONACYT or a CONACYT FUNED scholarship, you would be benefited from a 30% discount on your fees. And then from FUNED, if you only apply to FUNED, you would be getting 15% discount. And if you apply to FIDED, you will also be getting 15% discount. There's also the Chevening Scholarship for those who haven't heard about it. So the Chevening Scholarship, it's a British government scholarship. It's a fully funded scholarship. They pay for absolutely everything: housing, accommodation, flights, visa costs. So for those of you who haven't heard about this, I strongly recommend you Google Chevening, and I encourage everybody to apply. It's the best scholarship, and I was actually awarded with a Chevening scholarship myself, so I'm happy to help anybody who's interested in applying through the application process. So going back to international students, I always like to mention that there's a lot of support from the universities. They have an English language support center. So basically, if you're struggling with your academic English, about writing essays, you can also come to one of the workshops that the university offers, and they can help you either on a one-to-one session or workshops with more people, and they help you prepare, improve your presentation skills, how to write in a more academic way. We also have GP, which is a great practitioner, a doctor in campus all the time. Accommodation is guaranteed for all of our international students. So we'll ask you to provide 3 different options, and then you can choose up to 3. We have 8 different residence halls, but you can choose up to 3, and then we'll guarantee at least one of your options. We also have a visa guidance team. If you have any questions, they're always very helpful. And we have a career destination center. Our career destination center it has been awarded and recognized internationally. Basically, this is a center where you can come and you can look at different internship opportunities, work opportunities. They help you prepare for the interviews. The university has links with over 300 organizations and companies, so they can help you allocate a spot in one of these companies. And there's a drop-in session if you want to just arrive, and then they'll help you. Or you can also book a meeting or an appointment online. And I strongly recommend everybody to visit this one once a year in Southampton. And we also offer the meet and greet service. So once you've booked you get accepted to university, you get your visa, you book your flight, you arrive to either London or Heathrow, which are Gatwick or Heathrow, which are the 2 main airports in London. And the university comes and picks you up and brings you all the way to Southampton and drops you at your accommodation absolutely for free. Which I think it's a great service because you arrive to the new country, you don't know anybody, and well, the university offers this service. So I'll briefly talk about the University of Southampton and some important information. So the University of Southampton has over 156 years of history. We're in the top 100 universities worldwide. We're just ranked in place 90th this year. We're really happy about this. We went up 7 places this year. We're in the top 20 in the UK university guideline. We are in the 17th. We have over 6,000 students from 135 countries coming to us each year. We are also part of the Russell Group Universities. It's a very elite group of universities who are known because of its research. And we're also part of the Worldwide University Network. So we have agreements with different universities all over the world. And something that I like to emphasize is that we are 8th in the UK for research. So our research is internationally recognized. Yes, we were founded in 1862 as a Hartley Institute. We're in the top 3 again for the spin-out companies. So that means that if our students come up with an idea that they would like to develop into a product, a patent, or a business, the university has experts and they offer free advice to our students. I actually have 2 friends who have founded their companies out of a product that they designed during their studies with us. And also we're in the top in the UK for engineering. All of our engineering programs are in the top 10. And yeah, we're in the 90% of our research ranked worldwide leading or internationally excellent, which I think is amazing. Oh, sorry, I skipped the slide. So I mentioned that we have over 26,000 students, from which approximately 7,000 are international students coming from lots of different countries. And I would dare to say that around 300 Latin American students and about 90 are from Mexico, between researchers, PhD students, master students, and undergraduate students. We also have 7 different campuses, including 1 in Malaysia. So we cover pretty much all areas. We cover arts and humanities, social sciences, environmental life sciences, medicine, engineering, and physical sciences. We do not cover dentistry, architecture, interior design, and veterinary, but we cover pretty much everything else. So I mentioned that the universities are ranked overall, but also you should look at the rankings for each area. So we have here some areas that have been ranked in the top 10 in the UK for Southampton, and some of them that have been in the top 5. Let's say music has been ranked as the best program. Again, some programs in engineering, programs like acoustical engineering as well. It's ranked as the best one in the UK. So strongly recommend when you're looking for your area, look at the top 5 or top 10 in your specific area. So the university has collaborations with lots of different companies such as Shell, Ford, GE, Rolls-Royce. We have a Formula One Southampton graduate in each Formula One group. Again, we have the award-winning Career Service, Career Destination Center. 96% of our graduates find employment in the next 6 months after graduation. Again, we have prestigious staff and alumni. These are just some pictures of our facilities. The one on the bottom is the Institute of Sound and Vibration Research. Yeah, I mentioned that we have 7 different campuses. So we have Highfield, which is the main campus. This is where the library is, some cafeteria, some cafes, student union. Then we have Avenue, which is the humanities campus. We have Boulderwood, which is the engineering campus. And then we have a National Oceanography Center right here in Southampton, which is where all the marine biology, oceanography courses are taken, and it's by the sea. We also have the Southampton General Hospital, which is a teaching hospital. We have the Winchester School of Art, which is where our art campus is based, and it's actually in Winchester, around 20 minutes from Southampton. And I mentioned that we have the Malaysia campus. So something that I really liked about our campus is that pretty much you can find anything you need in the same place. So we have a student union where you can find lots of restaurants. We have squash courts. We have a climbing wall. We have pool tables. We have a bar in campus, which I think it's a new thing. I think for Mexican students. We have bars, cafes, we have bank shops, we have, again, the sports center with a swimming pool, a gym, we have an art gallery, theater, concert hall, cinema, which is way cheaper than actually going to the cinema outside. So average ticket can cost you about 12, 13 pounds. But if you come to the cinema from the university, it costs you £4, which is very affordable. There's a student discount pretty much everywhere you go in Southampton. Again, we also have a comedy club. These are just some pictures of the campus. So the one on the top left is the library, which I love. And then the one on the bottom is also part of the library. Then we have a ship that's part of our National Oceanography Center where they do research. And then on the top left, sorry, in the top right, we have our life science building, which is one of the newest buildings in our university. And then here we have on the top left, Boulderwood, the engineering campus. Basically, all the engineering programs are carried out here. And then the teaching hospital on the right, and on the bottom left, we have Avenue, which is our humanities campus, and then some parks that you can find across our campus. So we have over 300 clubs and societies. I mentioned there's a Mexican society, Latin American society, a Welsh society, an Indian society. So you can, if you're interested in learning about different cultures, you can join one of these societies. Again, we have clubs and societies from all kinds of sports. There's even a Quidditch society like the Harry Potter sport. But there's football, sailing, skiing, water rafting, mountaineering, rock climbing, yoga, acro yoga. There's ballet dancing, there's a salsa society, cake decorating, there's cheerleading, tap dance. But if you're more interested in like volunteering, I myself joined the nature and conservation. So we would go about once a month. We would plan a trip and then we'd come and clean a pond or plant some trees or raise funds for an underdeveloped community. So there's lots of options for you to join, either a volunteering, a leadership society, or just something fun like a sport or a cultural society. So I mentioned that we guarantee accommodation for all of our international students. So if you apply by August, let's say if you're starting in September, if you apply by August the 1st, then we'll guarantee accommodation. So they're really safe, they're really comfortable. Nothing's further than 15, 20 minutes from the different campus. So there's a bus stop right outside all the residence halls that you can link to all the different campus. If you apply to the halls, you already get included this bus pass that you can use unlimited. The prices will vary depending on the room. So you can have an ensuite, which means that you have your own bathroom and you just share the kitchen. You can have a shared bathroom, which is, I believe, a bit slightly cheaper. You can have it catered, which means that you would get food delivered to you every day, or not catered, that you would have to cook, which I strongly recommend. These are just some pictures of the different residence halls. So we have City Gateway, which is about 15 minutes from the campus, Wessex Lane, Glen Eyre, Mayflower. Mayflower is right in the city center. It's really modern, one of the newest ones. And this is basically how they look on the inside. So all of them have a desk, and depending on which room you choose, you can either have a single bed or a double bed. But all of their residence hall have really big kitchens. They have a common room like the one you can see in the picture. You can either there play with your friends or invite friends over. or we also have study rooms. Some residence halls have a gym already there. So yeah, there's minor spaces for studying within the hall, such as this one. This is a picture of Glen Eyre. I really like this residence hall because it's very green. And again, you have common rooms where you can meet your friends. I wanted to show you this map of the city. This is Highfield campus. Again, I mentioned the main campus. And then Boulderwood Avenue, as you can see, they're pretty close. And all of these red houses are residence halls from the university. So nothing's that far. So I would like to show you this video of our campus and how it looks in the different seasons. Oh, I think it got stuck. Oh, apologies for this. So I hope you've enjoyed this video of our beautiful different campus and how it looks in different seasons. I'll briefly talk about the city itself. So Southampton's in the top 4 cities to live in Britain. It's ranked as the most affordable student city in the UK. It's one of the sunniest and greeniest cities in the UK. It has a very rich history because of its Roman port. It's a cruise ship capital of Europe, and we're just over an hour and 20 minutes from London. Airports, yeah, again, we have a small airport that links to lots of different destinations in Europe. We have a small population of 250,000 people, but again, around 11% of the population are young students from our university. So this is how the Southampton docks look like. Again, we get cruise ships coming from all over Europe. And then, yeah, it's a fun fact, the Titanic left from the Southampton docks in 1912. And I wanted to show you this little map here so you can see how much more or less it would take you to get to different places. So again, I mentioned that we're just over an hour and 20 minutes from London. So if you take the train, it leaves you right in the city center in London. If you take the bus, it would take you a bit longer, around 2 hours and 30 minutes, I would say, by bus. But then there are other places that you can visit. Again, So we have Bournemouth, which is around 25 minutes, pretty close. And then we have Exeter, Bath, Bristol, Cardiff in Wales, Reading, Oxford, London, Brighton. So we have lots of different places that you could visit around the weekend if you're already done with your studies. So what I would do is that I would try to finish all my readings and everything from Monday to Friday, and then over the weekend I would go and visit a new place. So lots of castles as well, beaches, lots of interesting things to do. Again, I mentioned that we have a small airport with links to different destinations in Europe, such as Innsbruck, Malaga, Nice, Paris. There's also a direct train to London and Paris. So yeah, if you buy tickets in advance, it can be really cheap. And these are just some pictures of the city, the Park Gates, which is right in the city center. We have the Tudor House, the Southampton Docks, which is a very, very nice place to be with all the boats. We have different cultural events around the year. We have lots of theater, festivals. We have the Isle of Wight Festival as well. For those of you who are fans of soccer, we have a soccer team, a football team, the Southampton Saints. We have stadium, Southampton Stadium, St. Mary's Stadium, sorry. And again, our Taekwondo team is very popular, very good, nationally recognized. And because of our location, there's a lot of sailing if you're interested in trying that. So these are just some pictures of the city center. And there's also a couple of things that you can do within 25 minutes. There's a New Forest National Park. That's really nice park where there's free horses and ponies. Lots of people go by bike to the New Forest and then come back to Southampton. We also have Winchester in the bottom, which is where our art school is based. So Winchester was the capital of England a long time ago. And it's this amazing city. And then we have the Isle of Wight, which if you can take the ferry from Southampton, you can take a little boat and then it takes you to this island. It's amazing as well. It's very beautiful. And then on the top we have Bournemouth, which is this beach, sandy beach, just 25 minutes around from Southampton. There's lots of restaurants from food from all over the world for you to try. Lots of Indian food, Thai food. We have a bowling alley. We have museums. Lots of coffee shops, and it's really easy to get around, so you can walk pretty much anywhere or cycle everywhere. But we also have very safe buses. And this is maybe my favorite view from the Southampton docks. And this is the end of my presentation. So again, this is my email address. If anybody has specific questions about a program, I'm happy to look into this information for you. And if you send me an email, we can also arrange a Skype call, and I can go through you with you through any questions or specific information you would like to have. And I would like to leave the space for questions. If anybody has any questions, I am happy to answer them.
If you want to write down your questions in the chat box, just feel free to write them down and I will read them for Cecilia. So we don't have any questions yet, but they might be writing them. So we will just wait for a couple of minutes.
Perfect.
There we go. So Andrea is asking, how do you apply for the Chevening scholarships and what are the requirements?
So the applications this year will be open on the 3rd of September, if I remember correctly. In order to apply, you would need to write a total of 4 essays. One is about your leadership skills, one about networking skills, one about why about studying in the UK, and a fourth one about your career plan. Basically, what is your intention to do after you finish your program? One of the requirements is for you to have already your university diploma in hand by the time you apply. Again, university transcripts. You would also need you need to take an English test, but you don't have to do it at the moment you apply. You would need that later. You also need 2 letters of recommendation, and you need to have at least of 2 years of minimum of working experience. Tuning has different priority areas, so I would strongly recommend looking what the priority areas for Mexico are. That doesn't mean that you cannot apply if it's not if your program or your area is not in this priority areas. So I have friends who have studied lots of different programs, from fashion management, acoustical engineering, language teaching, public policies, architecture. So if you know how to sell your program, you're basically the project that you like to do, your application will be considered. So Chevening is looking for people who are interested in social engagement. So basically, whatever you're going to study in the UK, how are you going to apply it, and how is it going to help the development of Mexico? So you need to look into basically how to link your program to a project within your community. But you can look, I mean, again, I'm happy to discuss this with whoever had this question. We're actually running a webinar next week, if I'm not mistaken, with our colleagues from Innova and Kimi Yoshimura, who's a Chevening officer in Mexico City. So she will be providing more information. And yeah, again, I'm happy to discuss this with you if you send me an email.
Yes, we're going to have the event on the 25th of August if you want to join us, and Cecilia will be with us, of course, along with Kimi from the Chevening officer. She's a Chevening officer, so feel free to join us. Thank you, Cecilia. Carlos has another question. He's asking, can I apply for 2 scholarships like CONACYT and FIDER and obtain 30% and 15%?
So you can apply to both. I have actually an applicant this year that applied to FUNED, FIDER, and FUNED, FIDER, and CONACYT, and he got all 3 of them. You would only be benefited from the biggest discounts if you apply to, let's say, CONACYT and FUNED. You will be getting the 30% discount from CONACYT, but you cannot combine the 15 and the 30%. So I hope that answers your question.
Andrea says, thank you. And I understand that we have several students from other countries. So just be aware that we are talking about a few things regarding Mexican scholarships, but you can also use your scholarships from other countries.
Oh yes, I'm happy to, if there are any listeners from other countries from the region, I'm happy to talk about the scholarships available in your region and the discounts that you might be getting from us.
Thank you, Cecilia. Carlos also says thank you. And I don't know if you have any more questions. Please feel free to write them in the chat box and I'll just read them out loud. If you want to write them in Spanish, it's also fine. I can provide a quick translation. I'll just give a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
We have a question from Andrea, and she's saying, how is the social environment for international students?
So I love the social life in Southampton because it's a very international community, if you're interested in other cultures as well. I myself, when I was studying, I had my group of of international friends. Like I had my Spanish friends. There was a Romanian girl, Spanish, Italian, French, which I thought it was very cool. And we would do all this dinner thing, like international dinner things. But then also, whenever I was craving chilaquiles, I would call my Mexican friends. So the Mexican community is very tight. We're very close. So there's lots of options for you to engage in, like social activities. Also, the university offers this like free burgers on a Friday for all postgraduate students. So this is a way for you to kind of meet other people. But something that I loved is that I would always meet people from lots of different backgrounds. So in my program, we were around 120 from 4 different masters in linguistics. And I would say about 4 of them were British. All the other ones were from different countries. So I have friends now from Azerbaijan, Brazil, Venezuela, the US, Canada, Italy, France, Spain, which I thought it was an amazing thing that probably otherwise I wouldn't have met them, you know. So as I mentioned, about a third of the student community is international. So you know, most of the undergraduate students are going to be British, but then for postgraduate and for masters and PhDs, they're a very international community. Again, all ages, lots of different areas, lots of different countries. And that's something that I really like about Southampton. Like wherever you went, you'll listen to different languages. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. In terms of social life, there's clubs, there's societies, there's lots of bars, pubs, restaurants, coffee shops. But there's the Southampton coming as well. So actually the weather right now is really nice in Southampton. And yeah, people will get together for barbecues there or camping. So yeah, I would say that it's a very interesting place to live because there's people from lots all over the world, and you can see it in the food as well. Again, if you're into pubs, if you're into a club, like for dancing, there's a salsa dancing club. And again, so there's there's an option for everybody, I think. So somebody's asking, is the undergraduate admissions process the same as postgraduates? Not exactly. If you are planning to apply for an undergraduate program, you apply through this website called UCAS, and you can apply to 5 different universities with the same application. Again, my colleagues from Innova can help you in the application process, or I can myself provide you kind of the instructions on how to apply for an undergraduate. We usually recommend international students to apply by January if you're planning to start in September. But again, I'm happy to answer specific questions if you send me an email.
Thank you, Cecilia, for that. If there are any other questions, please write them down. Meanwhile, I do want to let you know that in Innova, we can help you apply to Southampton, either for an undergrad degree or a postgrad. And we do all this for free, okay? So you can contact us as well. I'm going to write my email here, and we can help with your application. But of course, Cecilia is always willing to help as well, which is very good. And she is a representative from Southampton in Mexico, so it's very good. I don't think we have any other questions, but if you have any other questions, please write to me or write to Cecilia. And thank you, Cecilia, so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. It's quite late in the UK right now, so she's doing off hours. So thank you for that.
No, you're welcome. Thank you very, very much for everybody for joining us. If you have, again, further questions, feel free to send me a message. And for those of you who are thinking about applying through Achieving, I strongly recommend going to this next webinar that we'll be having next week. And again, thank you everybody for coming. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day.
Thank you, Cecilia, and thank you everybody for joining. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.